More Black Press is my publishing house. I started in 1997. I started with my first book, The Words Don't Fit in My Mouth. At that time, I'd won the Apollo, and I knew I had an audience. I went to Europe for my first tour. I was on tour with a really incredible poet and novelist named Paul Beatty. So I went to Scotland and Manchester and Liverpool, and I was in Europe doing all these shows. I had no book. I was just a baby. And I said, I came home, I said, I got to do something about this. And the publishing houses turned me down. I had a really great literary agent, one of the biggest in New York City. It was a dream to have this big literary agent, and here I am, people want to talk to me about my book. And I'm so glad I didn't get that book deal because it would not have propelled me to start my own company. So More Black Press became my marker, became my logo, like my books are gonna come through this press, and now I'm gonna publish my friends. So I published Saul Williams, who's a very famous poet now that lives in Paris now and is from New York City, and he's done movies and he's done really well from himself. But I did his first book, The Seventh Octave, so he was like my first poet on the press, and he walked the manuscript over and said, here, let's make you the Haki Marabuti of your generation, who's one of my mentors out of Chicago from Third World Press. And I was like, I don't know if I can do what Haki did, but I'll try to create something with us. And after that came Sharif Simmons' first book, who's a poet out of New York City, was getting compared to Gil Scott-Heron a lot. Great poet and musician. And then I've done Raz Baraka, who's Amir Baraka's son. I did his first book of poems, Black Girls Learn Love Hard. Asha Mandeli, who's a beautiful poet who I looked up to. I said, Asha, you're gonna be the first woman that I published, and I published her. And and she's beautiful, got a beautiful book. And The Subtle Art of Breathing. And that's what so now I've got 3 books on my press that I published myself. My 4th book will come out, and I published 2 Detroit writers and poets last year. And so we're pushing along in a digital age. I really believe in dedicated to making books. We are moving into nonprofit, though. I have the Just Care More Foundation, which is my nonprofit, which is about literacy through the arts. And so we're going to be hoping to publish more people by getting grant money, because I do all of it out of my own money, and it's not easy.